tonight. All right. We're ready for the narrator.
So did you say for me to go first?
Yes,
okay.
please.
So I'm not sure about the episode before last one, but for this last one, after Eli parted with his uncle, he decided to go around town because he got a message from, or he talked to Charlotte that that Colby is missing. So he decided to walk around town. And he also messaged Brittany from the rival band, the Honey Beeps, the rival to Speed of Dark. And they met downtown and scored some pot from the class dealer. And Alyssa, they went down by the river, and there was some turning on happening. And so they hooked up. And then they were walking back home when they were interrupted by Charlotte's failed role, basically. So maybe we could have Charlotte catch up, and then we can have those kind of lines merge at that point.
Sure. So on Charlotte's end, we last left our anti-hero. She was at home having just been dissed by Drake because she saw the picture of Jade and Drake arms intertwined or whatever on his phone, thinking that it was Drake, thinking that I had sent it to him when not the case anyway, or wanted to see it. And then let's see, she received a call from Olivia, who said that she was in real bad shape and needed to escape. And Char doesn't have a vehicle, so she called the most convenient person she could think of, which was Colin, and started flirting with him as they were heading to Olivia's, and they were waiting at a stop sign about a block down, and they were hooking up. At which point Olivia came to the car and like knocked on the window, and she looked like she had been kind of hit around by her mom. And so then
her nose looked broken. I mean, she was really beat up.
And we were trying to find like a safe haven for her. And first we went to the Goldenrod, and when we went to the Goldenrod, the woman who had in the hospital presented herself as Colby's mother was the one that answered the door and introduced herself again as Colby's mother and said she was looking for Colby. So we backed the heck right out of there and said, no, we don't know where he's at. Bye. See ya. And then we, let's see. We were then going to, were we going to Collins? I don't remember. Kevin, do you remember?
Yeah, you kind of last ditch, like begged Colin to provide shelter to Olivia. And he called his parents, and they're like, yeah, if someone's in trouble, bring him over. And you guys were driving 5 miles over the speed limit quite recklessly through the old downtown section of Branson down towards where we have the imaginary fountain where that where cobblestone transitions down to that landing area where the new hotel is. Eli, I don't know if you remember how Branson's laid out. And as you were going down the street, you heard this huge roar, which was the Howler. And it came bursting out of essentially a side street, knocked the Volvo station wagon over onto its side. And Levi and Brittany were walking towards that, and the Howler bayed again and locked eyes with Levi and Brittany. Then also previously to that episode, I don't think you were around for the episode where Levi's uncle came into town, were you?
I was not.
Okay, so Levi's uncle flew in from the Pacific Northwest, Uncle Mato, and he also bears the ancestral magic / curse, and also can turn into a werebear. And basically, they visited Levi's mom for a little bit, and then went to Levi's place, and the uncle sniffed around and now has the scent of the howler. And they decided, well, Levi's uncle decided he was going to go hunt the howler. And from his big, huge duffel bag that was his carry-on luggage, he pulled out 2 hard cases, one with a really nice compound bow, and the other hard case had a hunting rifle in it. And they were going to go hunt the howler the following morning. And then they were talking about how their powers differ. And Mato doesn't have this, well, mechanically is the gaze into the abyss function. And he was very impressed that Levi could do that and pretty much pushed him to see if he could find out more about the howler. And when Levi went into that state, it was a big, huge overhead, like drone shot over this clearing. And you could see the howler come out of one side of the clearing into it, and Snoffus come out the other side. And then coming out from a third side, from the north side, if you will, was some dude dressed in these weird clothes with like a mossy beard and buckskin vest and stuff. And he was talking with Snoffus and the howler. And Levi knows that whatever that other third creature is, that it was basically kind of like telling them to go hunt, figure out Levi. And I think those are all the major story points to catch you up. So the last episode where the howler had burst out of the side street, we had ended with the hubcap spinning on the ground and smoke coming out of the hood bonnet.
So, point of clarification, the mysterious figure in the buckskin with the mossy beard talked to Snoffus and the howler and asked both of them to basically do what he had asked me to do and try and figure out what's up with Levi?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. He didn't actually hear instructions or the conversation. He just could sense that that's what it was about.
Okay, cool. And then, so the cliffhanger from the last episode, it was that the howler knocked a car off the road, and then Levi and Brittany showed up. Levi and the howler locked eyes, and then that was the end? Or was there like a confrontation, or did the howler run away?
The confrontation has not happened yet.
Okay, cool.
No, we have to put Brittany in mortal danger. Oh, and the other, Drake hooked back up with the remainders of the Speed of Dark, and they had a jam session. He got some strings back by kind of bonding with them. They had a killer jam session.
Nice.
Let's see, if I remember right, they did like a blazing 15-minute cover of All Along the Watchtower, a la Battlestar Galactica.
Awesome.
And of course, we only used less than 30 seconds, so we were doing fair use because we have a limited budget. But
of course.
And so I think that pretty much gets us up to speed. And Colby's whereabouts are unknown because he was not at the hotel. His mother, who introduced herself, I believe, as Cheryl to Shar, asked where Colby was. And that's when Shar pretty much ran away.
Cool. Okay.
Oh, and she also fled from her father as well. Because when they went to their house, they were going to put makeup on to Olivia so she didn't look so beat up when they got over to Collins. So his folks went call the Popo, and Char's dad was there. And so she now has broken her. Well, she already had told him she wasn't going to keep her word, but she flouted his orders yet again. So we've got all that in play on top of the crash.
Classic Char.
So, so this is all that same evening. Still, all this stuff has happened in a pretty compressed time. In fact, this is the same evening that Drake had bagged Brandon out in the clearing next to your trailer out in the woods. So this is happening just a couple hours after that.
Okay. And if I remember from that, Drake and Colin decided that they were going to, or Colby, Drake and Colby decided that they were going to leave, and they left Gail at her trailer. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And you had said that the trailer obviously has to move because people can't just show up without an invite.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so we're talking about like pretty late at night then, or at least after dark right now.
Yeah, it's probably like between 10 and 11 at night, I'd say.
Cool.
You know, after curfew probably, since it's still September somehow, even though we're on our 11th episode here.
Yeah.
So I think, why don't you kind of think where you want Gil to be, and feel free to drop her in or whatever, or I'll weave her in. But I think we'll pick up back at the scene with the Howler.
Yeah, I was thinking I would drop in somewhere in the middle, just so you know, but I'll keep my eyes open for a good spot.
Yeah, anytime you feel like, oh, this would be perfect time for Gail to show up, just feel free.
Sounds good.
So we're going to pick up kind of just off that old main street. And so the Volvo's laying there on its side. You can see the paint that's scraped off on the bricks as it slid a few feet. And the Howler's there kind of like almost like a gorilla with knuckles down on the ground. Haunches, looks like it's getting ready to jump for you, Levi. Char, the car's spun around. You're hanging from the seatbelt and looking out through the intermittent steam coming from the radiator. You can see the Howler standing there, and the thing is freaking huge, and the horns, and it's super dark. It's almost like Vanta Black dark, except there's a bit of blue catching the light. And you hear it roar, and it literally shakes the Volvo. And as the steam clears, you can see Levi and Brittany just maybe 20 feet away. And you see the muscles tensing as it's getting ready to pounce. Levi, what do you do? Run away. That's what Char would do.
He just runs. Take a break.
Uncle.
Levi interposes himself between the Howler and Brittany. He's not going to attack it. He's ready to move based on what it does.
And you see its head kind of doing that kind of snaky or cat-like predator type thing, where the body's kind of twitching. Yeah. It's a happy little shimmy, as Eli demonstrated. And it almost looks like it's trying to look around you to where Brittany is behind you. And you can hear Brittany behind you just kind of making these strangled, like terrified sounds. And it stands up on all four and starts kind of trying to circle around you. Char, what do you do besides the shimmy? You're in the car there, hanging from the seatbelt. Olivia is in the car, and she may not have had a seatbelt on. And then Colin did have a seatbelt on, but looks like he's knocked out.
I would kind of like quietly like turn and try and see if I can see Olivia. And from what I remember, she was not even sitting in the seat because she was hunched down in the back of the seat
Yeah,
to
she was
hide.
kind of down in the wheel well behind because she was hiding from your dad, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you look down, and so you're on the side that's up in the air, and you can see her down behind Colin's seat, and she's in a really weird contorted position, not moving.
And I kind of like, I look out the window to see if the Howler is looking at me at all. And
Nope.
okay, good. And I start whispering like, Olivia, trying to get her attention.
And you hear, Mom, don't hit me anymore. Meanwhile, Levi, Howler's
looking around, starts circling, and Levi slowly just kind of keeps one eye on the Howler and says to Brittany, "It's going to be okay. Just stay calm. If you get the chance, slowly back away." And Levi kind of turns and looks at the Howler, and he looks to get bigger, even though he doesn't change or anything. But he just is like, he does that animal posturing thing, like, I'm who you're after now.
Trying to do the dominant stare back.
Yeah, and just yells at it.
Like a roaring yell? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yell just like a vocal, like, come on.
And the Howler advances towards you, and it's like only about a foot away now. And it moves its head forward and just takes a huge, deep breath. You can feel the air pulling around you. It's taking so much, and it's just like swelling up. And you see its muscles bunch, and then it just roars back in your face. It's almost deafening.
When it goes to like, if it like goes breathe in, does that breathing in thing and goes to roar, that's when Levi pounces at it.
Yeah, I think that might be a keep your cool unless you want to lash out physically.
That's what I was going to think, in lashing out physically.
Okay.
Like,
all right.
If it goes in and goes to howl, it's just like a big old uppercut at it.
Roll with volatile, please.
Gosh, it's been a while since I've done that one.
Yeah, it was all sex stuff last time. Uh-oh.
That's only a 5.
So were you taking a swing at it or going to give it the patented bear hug? You haven't turned into a werebear, correct?
I have not done that yet. I'm a little hesitant. So that might be like a keep your cool in a little bit. Because I don't know if I want to turn in front of Brittany.
Okay, so were you like taking a swing at it?
Just like as it went, it like did that sniffing thing, and then it roared and kind of stretched out its neck. Levi just like full on uppercut.
Okay. Yeah, and you connect with its chin, and it barely rocks its head, and it just like basically backhands you, and you go flying. Take one harm. And it's right across those bruised ribs. You can feel those hairline fractures, that knitted up, kind of reform. And Brittany just screams and turns around and starts running. What do you do? And the Howler, of course, animal instincts, prey's running away. You can see it bunching up to go after her.
If Brittany is focusing on this at all, I noticed that the camera kind of comes back to Levi, and his head turns toward it, and his like eyes light up with that earth sign and the lightness thing, and he just bears out right there and charges after the Howler, jumps at it.
All right.
Like teeth and claws ripping at that thing.
All right, hold on for just a second. So, Shar, you see this happen? You see Levi's clothes just split. Well, I think you had your shirt off still because...
Oh, yeah, I was already off.
So you see the hair form up the back, just like in the hotel, and the jeans rip off. And you see the Howlers chasing after Brittany, who's screaming, "What do you do?" Meanwhile, Olivia's down there in the wheel all crunched up, going, "Stop hitting me, Mom."
So my side is the side that's up in the air, right?
Correct. You're kind of suspended by your seatbelt.
Okay. So I would kind of like brace my legs like in the like feet area of the car and like brace one hand and then like unclick my seatbelt and kind of like brace it to where I can take it off. And then I would open the door that's like above me at this point, I guess. Well, yeah, up the side above me.
Okay, you're kind of standing on the center, the column that the transmission runs through. Sure.
And like try and open the door.
All right, the door squeaks, and you see the Howler hesitate for a second, and its head whip back, and it locks eyes with you for a moment, and then it just roars and turns its head. And you saw that brief hesitation, Levi, and that's when you have your chance to jump it if you want. And so you saw it hesitate and roar at you, Shar.
So it hesitates for a second.
Yeah, it hesitated at that big squeak of the bent door opening, and look back past you towards that car.
Yeah, that's.
And then its head snaps back, and it goes
Like as its head snapping back. When I saw it look away, there's just a bear like gallop almost and pounce with claws bared and teeth snapping at that thing's throat.
okay.
Volatile. Oh, and I had a +1 a long time ago for this Howler. I forgot.
Yes, you have that marked way down at the bottom. +1 forward concerning the Howler. Gonna use that, I take it?
Well,
Makes sense to use it now.
yeah. Yep, and I have to pick an advancement eventually too. So that's a 10 for volatile. 11 if I use that +1, which I don't need it, but I guess.
Yeah, no, that's gone. That's depleted.
Yep. Cool with me.
So you deal them harm. And let me mark that down here on my sheet.
I'm ready to jump in after this is resolved, by the way.
Perfect, because I was wondering if you have like some sort of cousin connection with the Howler or whatever it is. All right, so Howler. All right, so you do one harm, and they choke up momentarily before they can react. So it's got another like hesitation here where it's kind of, you've got it flat-footed as it was turning around. All right. And Shar, so you see this happen, and then we'll bring you in, Gail. Jade, Garden.
What's the part of on Lash Out physically, Kevin? There's a thing where it's like you deal harm, they choke up. What's that? Choose. Oh, I see. That's on the 7 and 9. Choose one. Gotcha. I'm good.
Yep. That's the negative consequences. Yep. You are all upside. All right. Char, save your friend. Abandon your friend.
I think I've done enough abandoning of Olivia that it's probably time that I actually do something. So I see the Howler is taking a second. So I climb out. I climb out of the Volvo and like kind of stand. I climb out of my door and I kind of stand on the passenger side door. And then kind of like walk down a little bit and like open the door kind of like a hatch. And I like lean in and like yell for Olivia and try and grab at her and see if she will respond.
She kind of weakly puts out an arm, and you can grab hold of her and try to pull her out.
Okay.
So we'll say you're levering her out. She's not much help, but you've demonstrated how strong you are. killing people left and right. So
I
you'll
know.
probably be able to get her out. So, Gail, how do you want to work into this?
Yeah, so I think I was out for a late night stroll through the forest, just kind of like sorting out my feelings and wondering if, if Charlotte suffered enough at this point for not showing up to my place, and if like the cuckolding is acceptable at this point. But then I hear this struggle happening in the clearing, and I think I immediately recognize the Howler. I probably don't recognize Levi. I just think it's a big bear. Although, is there anything like obviously supernatural about this bear, or?
Yeah, it's a giant grizzly bear, which doesn't belong in the Ozarks.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, it feels wrong.
Yeah.
to
Okay.
you.
So I think I immediately
It's
recognize the
unnatural.
Howler. I immediately recognize that something's up with a grizzly bear outside Branson. And then I think I might have heard the voice as well whenever Shar called out to Olivia, but I maybe didn't recognize her voice. And so what impression do I get from the fight between the Howler and this bear? Does it seem like they're pretty much engaged with each other? Does it seem like they're like one is obviously getting the upper hand?
No, it actually seems pretty even. They're both just so big and strong, and it's right now you're feeling you've seen the Howler in both of its forms before, we'll say. I mean, because you've said they've been over for dinner, right?
Yeah.
And they have a non-Howler persona that they present him when they're normal Fae or whatever that is. And you got the feeling when you heard that roar and you came running and saw it, that it was like taking the measure
Okay.
of Levi.
So maybe not even, I don't even get the impression that this is like a life or death fight between these two things. It's more territorial than anything else.
Yeah, because it seems like the bear is trying to interpose itself very deliberately between the Howler and the girl who's running off that you've seen in art class and maybe talked about or talked with there, but you're not really buds with her. You think she has a band or something.
Yeah. So I think Gail kind of steps out into this clearing and sees this fight going on and is like, ooh, I went to the wrong place. I see what's going on. I need to get out of here. But then sees the car and hears this shouting happening over at the car and immediately reassesses and takes a half step back into the clearing, but then reconsiders and jogs forward toward the car to help out whoever's in there. Because if this is a territorial battle, then like people should not be here. This is a battle between Fae, and it needs to be out of human sight.
Yeah. Bad things happen, and plus, don't want word getting around. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
they make it over to the car.
Okay, cool. And it sounded like Shar was kind of on top of the car, or is she down around the side of it now?
I think I'm still like kneeling on top of the car, like on the side, but like on the top of it, like pulling Olivia out.
Sure. Okay. So Gail kind of like runs kind of full tilt toward this car, and as she gets closer, she's like, hey, and then she stops in her tracks. Charlotte?
And I like full body whip around and like glare daggers at Jade, Gail, Meadow, whoever she is at this moment. And I just kind of like yell, like, what are you doing here?
I was just around. Do you need help?
No, I can lift 2 people out of a car on my own. Yes, please come help me.
2 people? Oh my, that's so wild. Okay. So I'm going to, I guess, leap maybe a little more gracefully than it seems I would be capable of up onto the top of this car. And I'm looking down inside the windows. And who's in there?
This is Olivia, and that's Colin in the front seat. Can you? Colin.
Colin, he looks really heavy. Okay.
Do you want to take Olivia and I'll take Colin?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so Gail's gonna take over Olivia and kind of help her the rest of the way out.
And then I'll go ahead and reach back into the driver's side and take off Colin's seatbelt. And he kind of rolls over towards the window that's against the ground a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of slumps against it. Yep.
And I try and like shake him to see if he's conscious.
Yep, because that's what you should do if there's been a head injury.
Well,
And he kind of moans, and you see that he does have a gash across his forehead. Looks like it's where he went maybe up against the steering wheel. No airbag in this old Volvo. And his eyes aren't tracking together. Definitely looks like he's got a concussion.
Okay.
But he's like, Char? What happened?
Colin, we were in a car accident. You need to stay with me, okay? Okay?
I think maybe at about that time you say that from outside, the bear just rears back and yells with a big bear howl to just call out to like he's calling out to his uncle, but like declaring territory here. And Levi just runs around and interposes himself in between the Howler and Brittany where she's going again.
Okay, I think I want to keep your cool for that. And what's your fear? I'm guessing I know what it is, but your fear. Keep your cool, because this is for you to not lose your head here.
Yeah, my fear is that I'll lose control and kill some people that I really love. So with that advancements, I did take spirit armor, which does say when Bast in Moonlight, I reduce any harm suffered by one, and that I add 2 to keep your cool rolls.
Wow, took that just in time. All right, roll with cold, please.
All right. Still not, the best. Come on. Fail. Yep. Awesome. That's a 6.
Oh, your cold's -1, so that's +1.
So I think, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, damn it. All right. So there's repercussions for that.
Yes, there are.
So I think you just turn into a killing machine. You kind of lose that human bit of Levi that usually you can get to ride under the surface and drive the bear mech. Now it's on total kill autopilot, destroy all humans.
So there's a darkest thing?
Yeah.
Cool. What if and visually it was almost like he was in a groove, like this spirit armor was kind of going, but then like the thing like winked at the Howler, like winks at Levi and he just
it's Faye. Yeah. that tracks.
And so that's when Darkest Self, Levi howls again and just charges at it.
All right. So it's Clash of the Titans time. So you guys can hear those 2 huge bodies slap together and their roars echoing through the night. And Gil and Shar, you can hear some emergency sirens off in the distance. They don't sound very close, but someone must have 911 or something. And you see some lights going on in the upstairs apartments that are over some of the older stores downtown in the old section.
Olivia, she's semi-conscious right now.
Yes, she's not really much help getting out, but she's able to, like, do the wrist grab
Sure.
thing with you.
Sure. So I think as soon as I get her out of the car, I'm going to turn around and Charlotte, you kind of jump down into the car to get Colin out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I hear these sirens. I see these windows. I see these two fey creatures fighting, and then I consider, maybe just a little more punishment for that broken promise. And so we know that there's at least enough magic to like transform into a giant bear. Would it be appropriate to say that Gale's got access to like basic elemental powers?
What are you thinking of doing?
Well, I'm thinking about lashing out physically at Charlotte as one last little dig, and I would like to basically snap my fingers and cause the gas in the car to set on fire, or cause like something in the car to set on fire.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, Charlotte.
In fact, isn't that one of the things you can basically do when someone's broken a promise? You can make things go critically wrong for them, essentially.
Yeah. It is exactly that. They fuck up something simple at a crucial moment, suffering one harm if appropriate.
Why do you think so much, Meadow?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's it. I'm not actually going to do a move right now. I'm just going to, I guess it would be pulling strings.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that in the midst of this, while Charlotte is trying to pull Colin out, she messes something up and gets a harm from something.
Okay, we'll say it's the vile smoke coming out of the engine compartment now that fire is broken out.
And so she's just like inhaling it or something?
Yep. And that stuff is nasty. I don't know if any of you have ever been really close to a car fire, but it's nasty.
So mark one harm.
Yep. So, Shar, what do? The engine compartment's burst into flame. Colin's not really with it. You don't think you can boost them out of the window, although you do. Olivia, or not Olivia. You know that Gail is outside the car. She might be able to help you. I'm sure she'd love to help you.
Gail's maybe gonna help me. Let's see. I think first I would kind of put my back against the seat, trying to lift Colin up, knowing that I can't do it, and I would try and kick out the front window of this Volvo.
Perfect. That's what I visualized, but I didn't want to tell you what to do. All right. I'm just going to go ahead and that works. And so see the window stretching out with the safety glass, and then it just kind of pushes out of the windscreen frame. And you see Char come crawling out and then dragging Colin behind her. And since this is, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm just like, I've kind of helped get Olivia limp away from the car, and I'm maybe 50 feet away or something, so that the car is between us and the bears fighting, or these giant creatures anyway. And I'm kind of like kneeling on the ground, and Olivia is sort of cradled in my lap or whatever, and I'm watching this happen. And I'm like gesturing Charlotte to come over already.
So I go ahead and I pull Colin up to his feet and like kind of ducking and like walking with him over to where Glade is at.
Perfect. Is he awake?
I don't know. His eyes were open, but he's like I can't get him to respond to me at all.
So, like, we need to get out of here.
What's happening?
I don't know. It looks like two giant bears. We need to get out of here.
Okay, that's right when poof, because it's the CW, the car has to explode.
Yeah.
Right when Gil's like, we have to get out of here. And you're like, what's poof? And so we cut over to where the grizzly and the howler just hit each other. Go ahead and give me a roll with volatile for lash out. Just see if you're able to do anything here, Levi.
Hey, Kev, I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
One of my moves,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I've used this with that or not, is where is it? The down the rabbit hole. When you go poking your nose in affairs not meant for your kind, someone involved in the situation gains a string on you, and you mark experience.
Mhm.
Have I done that here yet?
So my interpretation of the way that is meant to work is it's the excuse for the mortal to go wandering into places where they shouldn't be. And I think
Okay.
here in this case, this is just an accident.
Okay.
Now, if you start following Gale around, that would be like a down the rabbit hole or something like that. So, okay.
Got it.
Let's see. Did you roll, Levi? For lashing out? Oh, you must have. Are you muted, Jeremy?
Yeah, I rolled an 11 for lash out physically.
Okay. So you've gone full on grizzly bear mode, and that's where basically you just start crushing stuff beneath your massive weight and then trying to bring your jaws to bear. Thing's so freaking broad across its back, you can't really get hold to do a neck snap and break it. And it gives this giant roar and just kind of shakes loose of you and goes tearing off kind of the way it came from, where it hit the Volvo. It just goes, it actually leaps over the burning wreckage of the car. So you could either go running past this flaming wreckage as the bear, or you've got all this nice and easy human prey handy.
All right, so I'm trying to get that picture in my head. I turn around, this thing just blows past it, and then there's these people, the humans are.
Yep, you can see Gale.
Blew up.
Yep, and then the opposite way behind you is Brittany, who's still screaming and running, making a lot of noise too.
Yeah, so that's when Levi makes a tear for the most boring looking human there and just mauls Colin.
Oh my god, so Gale and Shar.
I think I would actually like to interpose if I could.
Okay.
So there is fire coming out of the car, of course, because it's just exploded. And I think I am. I've got Olivia in my lap, and this gigantic fucking bear is right over us. And so I'm going to kind of like, it's almost like I'm bringing my arm over to cover Olivia. But when my arm comes up, it's actually much more of like a summoning gesture. And I would like to have a flock of moths fly through the fire and then like just attach themselves to Jeremy so that there are flaming moths that threaten to set his fur on fire.
So that's a lash out physically,
Yeah.
essentially?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So volatile.
Yeah.
So I got a 3.
So I don't know if you catch the Shar or not, but we have the camera down. We see the hands come up and just this stream of moths come out. And in the back of your mind, you hear Mothman. And they hit the flame and they literally just pop, 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 pop and explode. And now this hulking grizzly has come barreling around this burning wreck and takes a swat at Colin. And
can I say one more thing? Because I rolled so poorly, maybe somebody catches me in the act of this magic.
I definitely think if Shar wants to have caught that.
Yeah, okay. Because I think what happens, Shar, if you wanna catch me, then I think whenever I throw my arm up, you also hear this whispering on the breeze that's in my voice, but it's not coming from me, and it says, "Fire, fire, fly to me, grizzly, grizzly, leave me be."
Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, I would like to catch that. Yes. And so I'm kind of like awestruck, like looking at Gail and like not able to even comprehend that that Levi is still coming at Colin.
Yep. And he just comes up. And so what do? Do you like smack him down, grab him within your jaws of death?
With all of
I mean,
this
basically, how are you going to kill him?
Right. So it's like all of these overlapping things are going. Gail throws up her hand, and I can clearly hear that thing as well that she said, talking to the grizzly. I don't know if it penetrates quite.
I don't think so. You are in darkest self.
But
it might come back when you gaze into the abyss later or something.
Yeah. So it's almost like I think you just like cut to like bear vision where everything is just like stretched out in like yellows and reds, and that magic spell doesn't even do anything, and it's just a big downward swipe on Colin across his face, and then just it's almost like in a one move because he's basically, I'm going after the Howler, these people are in my way, Colin goes down, and then I'm up over the Volvo and into the woods after the Howler.
Dig it. All right, that is going to be an exciting all-night chase probably. Okay, so we're just about ready to cut away for a commercial here, but we have to get the aftermath. So Gail and Shar, you've been kind of just like shoved aside by this couple tons of grizzly, and Colin is almost literally a pulped corpse laying there, and Olivia's crumpled over on her side, just kind of muttering incoherently. I just would like reactions.
Gail immediately leaps to her feet and looks after the grizzly and the Howler, and she's like, "Who the hell was that?"
I think that's when we cut to commercial. So that was a great opening scene. I would subscribe to this show. So Jim, let's see. We have, I think, plenty to catch you up on. Oh, so wrapped up in what we were just doing. Let me see if I can rewind my brain. So
you can give me just kind of the barest of what you want.
Yep.
And then I can go back and look at the other sessions.
Yep. Last time that we had Colby in a session was when Drake was going to get a phone for Shar so that he could tease her with his tour d'affaire with Gail. And that went horribly wrong when he met up with Brandon out in a clearing in the woods, and Brandon tried to fuck him up with some weeds so they could then literally fuck him up. And Drake wound up bagging him. And then you guys hung out with Gail for a little bit. And then you guys, I think, were going back into town after because Drake wanted to see Shar, and do you remember where we left off with Colby? Because what we have established is you definitely weren't at the Goldenrod earlier this evening, probably like around, I don't know, maybe 9:30 p.m. And when Shar came up to the room, because they were going to see if Olivia could stay with you, because her mom had literally beaten the hell out of her.
Yeah.
And when the door opened to the hotel room, it was your mom who introduced herself as Cheryl. And she asked if Shar knew where you were. And
I think the last interaction is Colby and Shar were texting one another after the Gail Drake bombshell thing. I think it was just random texting of like,
oh, you and Colby?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the last actual interaction we had with Colby, though, was us texting.
Yep. And I know that you had an advancement that you had taken, Jim. I'm not sure if you have it on the sheet here yet or not. Did you?
I have not. I was
going
to
take the siblings.
Whoops! Oh no! Hello, siblings. Yeah, we're gonna have to crowdsource the siblings if they're gonna come into play today, as I've had not much opportunity to think about them.
No, that's cool. But you have siblings, so that's essentially the gang move, which is available to everyone,
right?
Except for the queen, who gets it right out of the gate, is built in. And they're independent entities, and they're also constructs like Colby. So we can figure out when would be an appropriate time. Do you think that Colby is aware that they have these siblings now? After all this stuff, did it like free up some memories? Or is this going to be when they show up, you'll know them, but be totally shocked at the same time? Do you have a feel for where that would go?
I sort of like the idea that it's hive-mindy a little bit, but if that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Maybe I am aware. How do I want it to be? It's almost like network discovery mode. Like I can ping them. Like I've never gotten a ping back from anybody before.
Okay.
But then I'm aware that there are other machines on this subnet right now.
Well, we need to come up with cool, like, Wi-Fi network names that people use for each one of them as they attach to your network. FBI surveillance van has just connected.
Right.
So, okay, so we'll figure out. So your mother, who we now know as named Cheryl, has tossed your room. I don't know if you were wandering around town or whatever. Where would you like Colby to pick back up at? People have ideas.
Oh, I was going to go back to the truck stop, almost like it's this weird comfort place for me. Like when I don't know where to go, that's where I go.
It's the routine.
Yeah. Yep. And it hasn't been for a while, but I don't know, maybe something smelled weird. Maybe the siblings put me off. So I went back to some place that I at least knew.
Okay. That might be a good place to roll at least one of them in.
Yeah.
All right. So it's late evening at the truck stop, Flying J, I suppose. And are you just cruising the trucks, or are you sitting inside at the counter having coffee?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think sitting inside at the counter, got the job now, living in the lap of luxury. And I think of Colby eating like an egg white omelet. Got to maintain the figure.
Right.
So, they look at me really weird when I order it because it's a truck stop, but they do it anyway.
Like, it's not on the menu, but yes, we know how to make one. Okay,
Right.
got it. And I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Do you have some harm? Yeah, you've got 2 harms. So your repair routines haven't completed yet. And so you're sitting there at the counter, and Flo, the waitress, and she's got the Southern Missouri, 60-year-old woman where they're not quite Texas hair, but getting there, where it's big, high up on the head, kind of Stepford Wives. And she takes the order and she sets it down in front of you with a coffee. And she looks and goes, "Hon, you look kind of beat up." And then she like holds her pen up and goes, You kind of look familiar." And we cut up, and on the TV, the big, 40-inch TVs that are up behind the cook station, we see them replaying the news loops of all the various crazy, insane things that have gone on in and around the Branson area, including breaking news about an explosion somewhere near downtown and word of wild animals rampaging. And you catch a quick glimpse of that KY3 skycopter shot of you and Levi laying in the ditch. And you're like, well, that's probably why she maybe recognizes you. What do you do?
And fuck. I mean, maybe shit. It's been
Are you
been
okay,
weird.
hon?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's been a weird couple of days. I mean, with all this weird shit going on around town, it's been a little unsettling. I'm good though. I'm good. Good.
Yeah, it's been a right mess. It's crazy. These meth gangs and stuff moving in. They need to build that wall.
Yeah. Where are we gonna get the money?
If just we need more good Christian folk around here, put a stop to this stuff.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I know for a fact that there are some people doing some unsavory things out in the parking lot here.
Oh my God. I mean, they're all going to burn in hell, but that doesn't mean that they can just keep doing it here right now until the rapture comes. I mean, the families sometimes come here.
Oh, I'm sure. I try to. I try to intervene in other people's lives as little as I can. I think I'm a strong believer in individual freedoms, but some things are over the line, and yeah, I'm with you. I can't condone some of this. It's a little too much.
Well, it's just against nature.
I mean, I actually heard, and I don't know if this is true, that there is some same-sex activity going on in the trucks in the parking lot for money. For money. You believe that?
Well, I and then she like leans towards you and she's like, yeah, I mean, word's been going around for ages. I mean, it's truckers, they're filthy animals, but
I mean, you're out there on the road for.
I mean, what sort of trash does that?
God
I mean, you
knows
can't
how long.
have any sense of self-worth if you're doing that for money.
No.
My God, bad enough when the women are doing it, but to be a male kid out there selling your body, oh my God.
It's disgusting.
It is. They should just lock them up.
Has the news cut off yet? Like, peeking up over her shoulder behind the
Yeah, it's
station.
on to sports now.
Well, I don't know. You do what you can. You do what you can. It's all we can ask. And I try to keep my house clean. I'm sure you do the same. So maybe that's all we can do, and try to set a good example for other people, right?
Right, you are, hon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna maybe sit here and read my newspaper and work on my omelet for a little bit. If that's okay with you. If I'm sucking up table space, you let me know.
Will do, hon. You take your time.
Okay. Thank you very much, Flo. I appreciate it.
And that's when you notice that the folded part of the newspaper you have laying up next to your plate has the photo from the sky chopper, and you flip it over real quick.
Tuck it under the plate. Accidentally on purpose spill coffee on it. I don't know.
All right. Let's cut back over to the downtown area. And now we have, so we just had Gail's reaction to all of that. Char, how are you dealing? You have yet another kill in your wake.
Is this kill on me?
I don't know. Would Colin have been out here if it wasn't for someone wanting a ride? And I mean, I'm sure that Char is completely clueless about this, but if she's lucky, she'll have friends that help her work through that and figure it out.
Well, we
Right,
all know
Gail?
how good of a friend that Char's been, so. I think at first I'd probably be like, kind of like, okay, obviously, like something happened to Colin, but I'm still so like locked eyes on Gail because I'm like the wheels in my head are starting to turn. That like, all right, so I know.
Oh, it's another weirdo.
I know something's up with Levi. I don't know anything's up with Drake yet. But now this chick that already is trying to take my man is a creep too. So I'm like kind of like seething in anger, like looking at Gail, like not even paying attention to Colin.
Yep, I got it. It's all about Char.
Right.
But like the last thing we heard down there was Gail saying, "Who was that?" Is that right?
Yeah.
And so I think I lash out at Gail and I just who was that? I think you know exactly who that was. How about you tell me who that was?
What? It looked like two giant bears.
Oh yeah. It looked like two giant bears as you mumbled some mumbo jumbo and then freaking moths come out of your hands.
What are you talking about? I didn't see any moths.
You didn't see the moths magically spring from your fingers after saying some witchy voodoo shit?
Witchy voodoo shit? Excuse me, that's offensive. I think you need to be a little more careful with your words, okay?
Oh, okay. Yep. I'm concerned about my words when I just saw my friend turn into a bear and attack another creature while the girl that is actively stealing my boyfriend shoots magical moths out of her fingertips. Yeah, this is a time for me to calm down.
Wait. That was your friend?
Yeah.
Which friend?
It was Levi.
Oh my. Do you mean to tell me that Levi is the Howler?
No. Levi is the bear.
The bear? Oh my. Ah, that is so wild.
What, off in the distance you hear roars again, right?
Look, like I think we need to get out of here right now, okay? Whatever beef you and I have, can we just like put it aside and take care of this?
Okay. Do you want to take care of Olivia and I'll take care of Colin?
Yeah, but like we could just go in the same direction. I mean, there are sirens, like maybe somebody's gonna be there to help them.
Okay, that's fine. You get Olivia, I'll get Colin, we'll go wherever.
Okay, fine. All right. So Gail's gonna walk over and kind of help Olivia up over her shoulder or whatever with an arm.
She's able to kind of move with assistance. You know, she puts an arm over your shoulder and you kind of hold her up. Shara, as you go down for Colin, it's obvious he's dead. He's got ribs sticking out of his chest. His eyes are open and glassed over. And his mouth's open with some blood dripping out of the side of it.
So, and I think what happens is I turn around from Gail and I just take one step and see this, and I'm like, and I can't even speak.
Gail gets her arm, or Olivia's arm, around her shoulder, and then she turns around. She's like, "Are you ready?" And then she sees two. Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that he made contact.
Was this Levi?
No, it couldn't have been. Levi wouldn't have done that.
Well, but like, look.
No, Levi wouldn't have done that. And then I kind of like grasped my face from where Levi had attacked me before. I was like, or maybe he would have.
All right, let's cut back over to the diner. So we hear the bedingle of the door chime, the little bell that's hung over it, open. And Colby, you feel your like network protocols kind of like fire up. And there's this teen standing in the entrance, and she looks a little lost. And she's got darker skin, kind of has a pretty tight fro, long aquiline nose, real slender, kind of tall like you, killer cheekbones again. And when her eyes meet yours, you just know that this is someone like you. And she sees you and just starts walking towards you really purposefully.
Is there another? I mean, I've been in the truck stop 1,000 times. Where is the closest exit that she didn't come through?
Oh, you could go out through the convenience store section and go out the other side where the truck parking is in the back lot.
Okay. So it's kind of your standard truck stop connected store one side,
it's got
diner on
the
the other side.
diner, store. Yep. Showers in the middle.
Yep. No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to let her get closer. I'm going to let her get within, a few feet, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to stare down the whole way.
And she just keeps coming, eyes locked on you. And she walks right up and sits down on the empty stool next to you on the side where you have the newspaper. And she slides that paper over in front of her and flips it back over. In the news, that's not too good for us.
Guess you don't want a coffee.
Nah, I'm not much of a drinker.
Yeah, me either. The fuck is this shit?
What do you mean, what the fuck is this shit? Certain protocols got activated once he went on the radar. What are we going to do? Now we got people looking for us. Now they're after all of us. Good job, Colby.
Pretend for a second that I'm stupider than I am. How many us are we talking here?
What? There's the four of us.
Okay.
Do you not remember this?
No, I don't remember anything. I have had a weird few days, not at the newspaper. So all of the shit that, I mean, you probably know this, all of the shit that's gone on around town with the wild animals and the hospital and everything else. It's involved me somehow. I have been trying to get away, and I feel like whoever this is like 1 or 2 steps behind us. So if you know anything about who it is, now would be a real good time to provide some information.
Well, it's mom and dad. I mean, don't you remember anything? And honestly, you're trying to get away, and this is as far as you got. Don't think you're trying too hard.
Fair point.
You know, I wanna come back here if it wasn't for you being on regional news. It's gonna be national at this point. Did you hear car just blew up in town? This whole place is like getting way too much attention.
I didn't. You're right. You're right. Tactically, right. It doesn't make sense, but this is the closest. I mean, I wake up here with no memory, and the only anchor I have are these few people who have been involved in all this stuff with me, who call themselves my friends, and maybe they are. I don't know, but it's not as simple as, carjack somebody and drive until I can't go anymore. It's not that easy.
Said the person who didn't even try. That's cool. That's cool. You would come with me? Let's get off the radar a little bit at least here.
Where are we going?
We'll go over to my place.
Your place.
Well, yeah, gotta have somewhere to stay. What?
I mean,
Come on, family.
what?
Are you gonna trust me or not?
No, I'm not. I'm really not. What incentive do I have to believe you that you're not just gonna take me somewhere and have me decommissioned before I even realize what the fuck is going on?
So you sure you don't remember anything?
I mean, I know who I am. I know what I am.
We've all been decommissioned multiple times. You don't remember any of that?
Whoa.
They never get everything wiped. You know that. She's like, well, fine, whatever. And she just kind of steps back off the stool and turns around and goes walking back out that door. Doesn't even look back. Bedingle. She's out the door.
Suit yourself.
All right. Let's see. I just want a quick little break for a bio break, and then we'll pick back up like what is it? About 5 minutes. That all right with everyone? Okay, cool.
Kev, you were quick on the draw there, man.
What do you mean?
For the bio break, this is a CW show, so I had to let her walk out into the parking lot before I turned around and screamed, "Wait!"
Well, nope. She's not playing around.
So is she gone by the time I get to the door?
No.
Yeah, we'll have
But
to talk about this.
okay. Jeremy's back to you. Just a second.
No. We can cut away. But it was a perfect CW opportunity.
Just want to grab this image and okay. Let's see. NPCs. All right, let me just, God damn it. There we go. I dropped the image of your sis over on the classroom page. I'll get her out onto the board here later on, the Pinterest board. All right, so we pick back up and the door is just swung shut and we see Colby get up and you go running to the door and shout, "Wait." And
yeah,
she's
sorry, I was
about
taking notes.
She's about halfway across, walking through where the gas pumps are for passenger cars, and you see a couple the taillights blink on and off on like a Ford Escape or something. And she turns around and just gives you this kind of dead stare. Yeah.
Who else is here? Who else is here that you know of? More of us? More people looking for us?
Well, I assume there'll be more of us soon. I mean, you made the news. Come on, Colby.
Yeah, but
Look, you want to go or what? This is not the place to talk.
No, but we can talk about a plan really fast. Like, what's our game plan here?
Plan is to get you out of sight, lay low, gather information, see if we can piece together your memory, and figure out if I'm assuming that it was mom and dad who were trying to snatch you, or otherwise, if it wasn't them, who was, and are they therefore after me and our siblings? Now, look, really, I got to go. I hate even being out in the open too long. And she like looks up and she like points at the gas pump cams and stuff. She's like, you know, cameras are freaking everywhere now. And I just not big on having this stuff out there, even if it's on footage that's going to roll off in 36 hours.
All right. Give me 5 seconds to send a text.
But you can do that while you can walk.
Fine,
Come on.
we'll walk. And then I want to send a text to everybody that I can think of, like.
Okay, who is everybody you can think of? Olivia?
Everybody, yeah, Olivia, God, probably Colin, Charlotte, Levi, Drake, Gail probably doesn't have a phone. It might just be a curved branch for all I know. And then the text is like, it's total Colby. It's like, I have a sister possibly getting kidnapped. If I don't get back to you in 2 hours, assume the worst. Send.
Okay, awesome. So I guess Levi's cell phone is probably in his torn up jeans back in downtown.
God damn it.
Shar, you get the ding. You hear Colin's phone go ba-ding, and Drake is off wherever Drake is, and he gets it.
Drake's ringtone is like, "You're awesome." Every time he gets a text, it's like, "You're great. Look at you."
They love me. They really love me.
Mm.
Okay, so you're gonna jump into the SUV.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yep, brand new, shiny. It's fully loaded because Nona ever drives crap vehicles on these shows unless
Do they
you're a
have
main
candy?
character.
Are they looking for a puppy?
Is that what you say to her?
No.
Okay. And she just starts driving, and she's going, heading a bit south down towards Table Rock Lake. Meanwhile, back at the square, Shar, you've just gotten a text. You've heard Colin's phone go off. You hear another chime from kind of across the square, and you and Gail can hear sirens getting louder. Gail's there with a woozy Olivia, and Olivia's eyes just now kind of track down, and she sees Colin, and she just starts screaming. What do you guys do?
Olivia, calm down. Gail, can you do anything?
I just think we should maybe leave. I mean, Colin's, I don't think we should be seen with him.
I mean, can you do anything?
What do you, no, what do you think I am? Just some sort of like, no, I can't.
Okay, then we need to go. We
Okay.
need to leave.
Yeah, let's leave. Let's go. Let's hurry. We can go to my place.
Okay. All right, yeah. Let's do that. Where do we go?
Okay, fine. Just follow me. Just follow me.
Okay, and we can just cut to the trailer. In fact, so yeah, let's just cut over to wherever the new location is.
Yeah.
That you have for the trailer. So, what is that like for Gail? Is she going to be willing to let Olivia and Shar into the trailer, or is she going to keep them outside
Into the
by the chimney?
Yeah, it's kind of like an outdoor living space. At least that's how she uses it. She lives outdoors. So yeah, she's definitely going to let him into the clearing and kind of set him up by the chimney. And she's like, I'll go get some blankets or something.
Okay. Yeah. And to clarify, when I saw the picture of Gail and Drake canoodling, I know we're in a different location, but I would be able to recognize the space, right?
Yeah. The idea with this place is that like the layout of the trailer and like the beat up van and the bike and the hot tub and the chimney and all the stuff that's around is exactly the same. And there's probably like a tree that's always the same too, that's in the yard, but just cut that image out and paste it into different areas around the forest.
Oh, take that.
So I kind of like am scoping out the area and like realize like, oh, this is where they were. They were here. Awesome. So he went to her place. And I'm just kind of like internalizing all this and still like fuming and not paying attention to Olivia because I'm a great friend. And just like kind of like looking around for clues to see if I can figure out more about who Gail is or what Gail is.
Sure, you can noodle around while she's, I guess, inside the trailer gathering supply. So, Gail, what might Shar be able to come across that would be interesting, weird, and kind of Fae-like without being overtly screaming magic or anything like that that could be interesting for her to find?
Let's see here. So, one of the things that's interesting is that it seems like the tree in the yard is hitting fall colors a lot sooner than all the other trees. This is September. This is like right at the beginning of the school year. Everything should still be green, but this tree is like bright orange. Even at night, it almost looks like it's shining because the colors are so vibrant. So that would definitely stick out to you. Also, like the van it's hooked up to the trailer as if it could pull it somewhere, but it doesn't look like this van has moved in the past 10 years. It's like just shy of being up on blocks.
Right. So there's no sign of any tracks of the trailer having been pulled in recently or anything like that, right?
No, yeah, it looks like this has been her forever home, for maybe her entire life so far. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's really obvious. Oh yeah, so it's moss instead of grass on her lawn. So that's a big thing that's different.
Feels great on your bare feet.
Yeah, and it's weird because like around the chimney, for a few feet, the moss is like thicker and more brittle. But then around like the chairs that are set up near the chimney, it's actually really soft and like nice to walk on or sit on or whatever. And then in between the chimney area and the house, it is yet a third type of moss. There's like an entire ecosystem of moss going on this lawn.
So
I dig it.
I think first I would maybe go up to the tree and like, because I notice it, and like I think I would like knock on it, like trying to like see if it's like hollow or see if it's like real or like try and figure out what it is. And I kind of just like keep inspecting it. Like it's kind of like that like when you are in your house and you walk by things all the time and then there's something out of place and you just notice it and you're like, that's out of place. So it's kind of like that kind of feeling, but about everything. Like, this is not supposed to be here. What is this?
Okay, and I think that's probably when Gail comes back out of the trailer with the blanket, like digging through these things. So, Gail, you get another string on Shar, and Shar mark an experience.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so Gail comes out and she's got these 2 or 3 big blankets that she's just kind of carrying in her arms or whatever, and she kind of flops them down by the chairs, and she sets something down beside the blankets, but it's too small to see, and then she like gets one of the blankets like cast out, onto the ground, and she goes over and she starts to set up the chimney and like starts a fire there and make sure Olivia is like, seated on the blanket and comfortable.
Okay. Let's cut over to the SUV cruising down towards Table Rock Lake. And you're winding through kind of the foothills of the Ozark Mountains there. And it pulls into this brand new apartment complex that's not real far off the highway. And you drive into an underground parking garage. And your sister looks at you and like, come on. She gets out, takes the elevator up to the top floor. You go into apartment 403. And you walk in and, you know, it's got really nice furniture out in the living room and dining room and kitchen, all new appliances. And it's got, though, like that new carpet and new furniture smell, where when the urethane is off gassing shortly after manufacturing, and your sensors pick that up big time. And she says, have a seat.
All right. I'll sit.
And she sits down across from you and she's like, so fill me in. What all's been going on? How did you get back on the radar? What are you even doing here? I would have thought you'd been long gone. I mean, we kind of scattered to the four winds.
I don't even know what. Sorry, hang on. I don't even know. I don't know the answers to any of your questions. Whatever the opposite of blacked out is here, I don't know where I came from. I have a few hazy memories of being experimented on, and I obviously know what I am. But since I've been here, all I've done is try to eke something out. There's nothing to tell you. But you look like you're doing pretty well.
Well, yeah, I'm not stupid. I'm sharp. So what are you then?
I'm some kind of construct, right? I'm some mostly computerized thing.
And she looks in, she's like, yep.
Okay.
You're right.
And you're the same.
An iteration, if you will. I mean, and she walks over and sits down next to him. She's like, we are maybe of a type, but we're not the same. We have our own experiences, our own abilities, weaknesses. You seem to be damaged, though. And honestly, somewhat of a risk to us.
Us.
Your siblings. Have you not been listening? Play it back in your head.
No, I'm listening. I just don't know what you're talking about. Like, yes, there are more of us, but who are we? Like, what the people who are looking for us? What do they want to do?
Well, I don't know quite how to put this other than to say, think mom and dad want their toys back.
But why let us? But why let us out at all?
There was no let. I can't believe you don't remember any of this. Cain put them out of commission. We ran, we split. I have no idea why you're back here. But we need to make some plans, figure some stuff out. Does anyone else know about what you are? I mean, you're not being on the down low here at all. You've like broken every protocol.
No, nobody knows. I think I've done actually a fairly decent job of fitting in as a normal teenager, except for the fact that I showed up out of nowhere and started going to school. But that you can wave that away.
And she looks in and she's like, so you were going to school? Like, and you see like her eyes go kind of blank for a split second, like she's accessing information. And she's like, School of the Ozarks or Calvary, or don't tell me you went to a high school.
I did.
How many people have you gotten killed so far? And we'll cut away.
More than one. Yeah.
So, Levi, our rampaging beast who gets taken out of play by your animal nature. You're tearing through woods and hills and brush, just crushing it as you follow the scent and sound of the howler. And then you hear yet another different roar in the distance. One that's familial, perhaps. And then you feel a sharp pain in your shoulder, and another, and things start going woozy, and your vision blurs, and you feel yourself stumbling drunkenly, and you collapse, and you're laying there. You can just barely keep your eyes open, and you hear crunching through the scrub brush, and you see some boots, and then your uncle crunches down. Next thing he's like, "Hey, bud, you'll be okay. I've got you now. We'll get you home." All right. Meanwhile, at Gail's trailer.
So, yeah, Gail's got the chimney going. There's a fire to kind of warm people up in the night. She makes sure that Olivia's got a blanket wrapped around her, and then she kind of sits down and picks up the thing that she had set aside at first. Charlotte, are you still snooping around, or are you coming over?
I think I'm looking, but I've like looped around to where I'm like, it looks like I'm heading to sit down on a chair, but I'm still like very much looking around at my surroundings and you before I sit.
Okay. So once you sit down, you see that Gail's actually taking a hit off of the pipe, and she kind of inhales and she starts to set it aside, and she's like, "Oh, do you smoke?"
No time like the present, I guess.
Yeah, okay, sure. So she hands you the pipe.
And I've very clearly never done this before, so I'm like, so I like, but I know I've seen it, so I'm just like, so I put my hand here.
It should be still rolling.
Oh, and I still like light the lighter anyway, and like go to put it, and like I just like kind of look over at you. I don't smoke. Can you help me, please?
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. So she comes over and she's like, "Okay, so this is how you do it," and she like shows you how, helps you take your first hit, and she's like, "Now hold your breath."
So are you like helping her hold the pipe correctly and everything?
Yeah, I think so. I kind of like.
Okay, roll hot, please.
Okay. Let's see. I wondered if that was gonna happen. All right.
We're contractually obligated.
8, 10 total.
Oof, okay. Turn someone on. So on a 10 up, you get another string on Gale or on Shar. And Shar, you get to choose one of these 3 choices. You can give yourself to Gale. You can promise something that you think she wants, or you can get embarrassed and act awkward.
Oh man. I think in this instance I'm gonna get embarrassed and act awkward.
Yeah, you feel that kind of sexual energy coming off of Gail, that weird mix of maybe being much older than she presents, and also that weird naivety. And you realize, why people are attracted to her. Maybe you should even forgive Drake, because then you could get another XP. And yeah, so you see Shar flush, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Gail didn't really notice what was going on until then, but she marks this and she's like, "Oh, well, okay." Very, very not exactly dismissive, but just kind of like not impressed. She knows who she is. She's well familiar with her pheromones. And so she kind of like goes back over and sits down on the blanket and waits a little while.
I think Shar would like ask, because she still wants to know about the Drake thing. So I think she would ask, like, how do you do that?
Do what?
I don't know, make people feel all, you know.
No, I don't think I do.
You like make people feel like they'll just melt like putty in your hands. How do you do that?
Oh, well, I just have hands that can melt you like putty, I guess.
Is that what happened with Drake?
Oh, not really. I mean, it's kind of a special thing, I feel, between me and Drake. No offense or anything, but like, it seems like he's interested. And he did come by earlier, but it was kind of weird.
He came by here before he came by my place.
Yeah.
And before he came over here, he was with me too.
Oh. Yeah.
Like he's been with me a few times.
Oh. Oh yeah, that's a problem sometimes. Look, I am not picky and I'm not jealous, and the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned.
I don't really think that that's how it works. It doesn't matter if you're not picky or jealous. Drake is with me.
Oh my gosh, he is?
Yeah.
I think that shuts someone down. The total disbelief that Drake would actually be with you. That's very much a social slapdown.
All right.
Roll with cold, please, Gail.
All right. So let's see. Oh, that's I think it's an 8, but let me just double check here. Yeah. No, it's
a 9.
It's a 9, yeah.
All right. So on a 7 and 9, you choose one from below that you come across poorly. So, Shar, you're going to be able to give Gail a condition. And then, Gail, you get to choose one of these. If she has a string on you, she could lose it. If they have no strings on you, you could gain yet another string. You could give Shar a condition, or you could take +1 forward interacting with Shar.
And can you remind me what +1 forward means?
You can add 1 to a roll next time you're doing something either for or against Shar.
Okay. And it's like the next time, or I can choose when I want to?
No, it's the next time.
Okay, gotcha. I think I will take +1 forward.
Okay, just make a note.
Sure. And what specific, like it has to be about me and her and relationships, or it's just any interaction between me and her?
Anything where where a roll would be involved between you and her, okay, where you're rolling, you get to add 1.
Okay.
So if you lash out physically or whatever. And Shar, what condition are you going to give Gail? Pick one that you can tap a lot.
Oh, I just make something up, right? Or is there like an extra? Okay.
Nope, they're generally adjectives. Or things like bitch, but I don't think that one fits quite here. But
I'm trying to think of the adjective I want to use. Her.
Or a noun too.
Yeah. I kind of want it like truthiness. Like I kind of want it to be where like she's more inclined to be honest with me than aloof. Is that allowed?
Is that maybe more like oversharing or something like that, where she's just out there on everything?
Yeah. Yeah, like overshare. Like she maybe gives too much information when I ask.
Okay. All right. I've added that.
Cool. And that's like just so I understand the game, what that means basically is that I will have that RP mandate anytime I interact with her.
Essentially the way it works, it's like aspects and fate where it can be tagged and used against you. Okay. And it works great if you play into it, but it doesn't mandate how you play, because it's a lens of how others interpret your behaviors. So you may not feel like you're oversharing at all. This is just like completely natural while you continue to overshare. But they can like, I'm going to do the fact that Gail overshares, so I know that this is probably where she would be because she just talks. So some of it is taken into account out of scene conversations and knowledge, essentially.
Okay, cool.
So like Shar has insecure, which I think we've seen. Psycho just keeps getting people killed. Levi still out of control. Well, sedated right now. Bitter. And Colby, you're still one of them because you hooked up with Drake. That's very interesting. We'll have to work that back in. All right. So let's cut over to Levi. You come to feel honestly kind of hungover, and you hear, or you're actually shaken awake, and you're in the old, what did we say it was, a station wagon or pickup truck? Oh, it's an old like Ford Explorer or something. Real old rusty one. And you're just kind of shaking around, and you kind of slump over, and you feel Mato's hand on your shoulder pushes you back upright. It's like, whoa, hold on there. You coming to there? Levi. It's Uncle Mato.
To clarify, is this like the next day or?
It's still dark out.
Okay.
You're bouncing down some dirt road.
And he just said, oh yeah, I just shake away, like, I gotta go get it. If you don't help me chase him down right now, I'm jumping out. And I push at him. Let's get him.
Oh my God. He's like, whoa. And he like, you're not moving very fast because you're going down a rutted dirt path. And he stops and puts the vehicle into park, and he like puts a hand on your shoulder and like, calm down. I know you're angry, but we're not even ready to go. The sun's going to be up just a couple hours here. This isn't the time. Remember, we were going to hunt, do this as a reasoned, logical series of
I
actions.
was downtown and it attacked me. It brought the hunt to me. I'm going after it now.
Boy, you are completely out of control. Your mom was not kidding. You got to get a grip. Just getting angry and running off doesn't fix things.
Yeah, but killing that thing will. And I'll open up the door and get out.
Levi, get back in here.
Slam the door.
Okay. And you hear his door open and it slams. He's like, what the hell is wrong with you, kid? I know you're angry, but can you not even think? Are you like taking testosterone or something like that, or steroids? You're not making any sense.
I thought you wanted to get this thing and it's time to go now. If you don't come with me, I'm going through you and I'm going to get it.
Kid, you're not in any shape to be doing this. I know you're pissed off, but this is not the time. Give it some time. The Howler's going nowhere.
And so it's like that moment where they're locking eyes and Levi just breathes in slow, and it's like he's trying to take everything in around him, and then he looks at his uncle in his eyes and pushes his uncle back,
and he stumbles back a couple steps because he didn't expect that.
and is like, I'm going now. You can't stop me. And Levi will just turn into a bear, howl, and go back after where he's gotten.
And the last thing you hear is he transforming as, well, shit. And I think Gail and Shar, you hear that roar of the grizzly way off in the distance echoing through the hills. And let's cut over to the apartment. So Colby, your sister, looks at you and she's like, so here's the thing, Colby. We got to get you sorted out. Figure out if you're a threat to us or not. I'm thinking not, other than just not knowing what's going on and being dangerous because of ignorance. And we got to figure out, is that mom and dad? Or is that someone else who snatched you? Oh, and what's with the huge dude who was with you? You sure he doesn't know about you?
The huge dude?
Yeah. And she pulls that newspaper back out and you see Levi there, in the photo in the ditch alongside you on the gurney.
No, he's just a football
And she taps
player.
that.
He doesn't know. I swear to you that I have kept a pretty good low profile here. As much as it might not, glance down at the newspaper, as much as it might not look like it, I think I've done a pretty good job.
Well, considering you're working with only partial information, I guess I will give you some credit there.
So there is a way that we could figure out who's trying to snatch me.
I'm listening.
Somebody came and visited me in the hospital after the car accident. If we
Mhm.
could somehow jack in and look at security footage or something, we could get a pretty good look. Or, I don't know, we could ask my friends. I know you don't want to do that, but we could.
These friends. And this is maybe right when you get bing, a text from, oh, wait, no, you sent the text.
Right.
Shoot. No, and it's only been, it hasn't been that long yet. Okay. She's like, so these friends, how would you explain me to them? I mean, I want to be there with you. Unless you want to do like a memory share.
No, I think they're good for it. I think if I said, hey, do you remember when those weird ass people came and saw us in the hospital? We need to figure out who they all are. I need to know if you saw anybody that I didn't see. Like, they know some weird shit's going on. So I think they're good for it. I need you to trust them so we can bring them in.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to trust you on this.
All right.
And you see her eyes just like do that super quick flick up to the corner. And she's like, it's late. They're probably not up. Assume they're sleeping. Meanwhile, we cut off to clearings where people are blazing and pissed off Grizzly roaring through the woods. And she's like, and there seems to be a lot of activity in town. And she's like, I'm catching some police incident reports. There's been some sort of fire downtown and there's a casualty. Probably check in with them tomorrow.
What day is it? That's Jim
I
asking
know.
that, not Colby.
This is Kevin asking the rest of the group. Anyone? Are we Wednesday, Thursday? It's time is crawling. It's a weeknight. I know that much. It's a school night.
So I could
Colin wanted to do math with Shar earlier in the day.
Indeed.
Division.
So I could propose I have to work after school tomorrow as a place where we could potentially congregate some people to at least make plans to meet later on in the night and start figuring out what's happening.
Perfect.
All right. Well, common grounds. 3:30 tomorrow. Slip an ad, put it, write the address on a piece of paper. It's been a long day.
All right. She takes that slip from you and she's like, well, you can pick whichever room. And she holds out her hand to you and she's like, by the way, I'm Francesca.
I don't take it. Instead, I pull out my phone, another group text. I'm alive. May need your help tomorrow. I'll be back in touch in the morning. Send.
Beautiful. So when you go down the hall, so there's like a bathroom and there's like hardly anything in the bathroom at all. There's like a couple towels that look like they've never been used. And the two bedrooms just have mattress laying on the floor, no covers, nothing. And but you go into one, she goes in the other, and you presume that she's going into, maintenance mode or something. Are
As
you going to do that too?
yeah,
You're banged up.
I'm sorry. I'm what? I didn't hear you.
You're banged up. You're at 2 out of 4 harm.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be good. And as I walk down the hall and see the setup, I look back at her and I say, "Shit, you say I don't appear natural. Could at least put some sheets on these mattresses."
I really want to say, I heard that, but I'm not going to.
No, I say it loud enough to hear.
Okay, then the door cracks open. It's like no one's going further than the front room. Cool your jets. Just, you look like crap. Run maintenance. Take care of yourself for a bit. Tomorrow's another day. We've got some plans. We'll start getting this stuff sorted out.
All right. Guess we'll do
The
it.
door just clicks closed. Meanwhile, around the chimenea, what's going on? So, Shar, are you high? I assume this is only the finest Fey weed.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true, Gail?
Yeah, it's not the kind where you might not feel it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think coupled with the fact that I've never done any before and didn't know what to expect other than what I've just heard, my brain is like a mix of just like straight up calm and every thought ever running at the same time.
Yeah, and I think maybe you're stoned enough on this stuff that you can, while you're calm and like your mind is racing, you can also hear like the suggestion of some music on the wind just outside the clearing. The crackling of the chimney almost covers it up, but every now and then you think you hear some tinkling voices.
What's going on?
You're really stoned.
But really?
Well, I guess the whole planet is kind of spinning, It's almost like she leans back, like puts her fingers in the moss, and she's like, you can almost feel it. The whole planet just spinning.
No, nothing's spinning. It's all like glittering though.
Oh yeah. That's oh look, it's fireflies. And she points, and like there's some sparkles that were actually sparkling, but then they kind of coalesce into fireflies that are hanging around the trailer.
So are those like Fey? Lesser Fey just kind of hanging out?
I think so. This weed is not the kind of weed that would like part the veil into the fairy realm, but it is, a situation where people might be more open to the Fae coming through themselves.
Gotcha.
So Levi's a bear. Colby's some robo weirdo, and you shoot bugs from your fingers.
Wait. Colby's a robo weirdo?
No. I just mean you.
I knew it.
No, I just mean like he's very like, oh, I'm cool. He's like a robot. I'm not saying he's an actual robot. That'd be weird. I'm just saying he's like a robot.
Well, I mean, you're kind of like a robot.
What?
You're like really tense all the time.
I'm not tense all the time.
Yeah, look at you. You're like rod straight on top of that chair. You're not even like feeling the moss.
I'm sorry. What am I supposed to do? Dig my heels into this moss and have the fact that I probably killed somebody like just kind of roll off my shoulders?
I mean, better to feel bad with moss on your feet.
What do you do? Why are you here? What are you doing? Why are you shaking all of this shit up?
What do you mean? I live here.
You are just all of a sudden poof, you're here in school, and like my Drake just starts oohing and ahhing that this new thing is here, and then you shoot bugs out of your fingers and you say these hippy dippy things under your breath like we can't hear, but I fucking heard you. What the hell are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Well, look, I've lived here for a long time, okay?
How long?
You know, like years.
How many years?
I don't even think about details, you know? I just know that I've been here long enough to watch the leaves change a few times and to know when it's going to happen. And that's what I know.
What else do you know is going to happen?
Oh, like, I mean, it's going to get really cold, but that's about as much as it gets, you know?
I know cold. I can be real cold. I hope you know that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do.
I don't think that I want you to be an enemy, but don't for 1 minute think that that means I think we should be friends. You know what I mean?
Chill goes up Gail's spine. And she's like, look, I just am not really looking for like frenemies right now. And if you don't want to be enemies, that's great. That sounds great. But like if you don't want to be my friend, then I don't know that I really want you here on my blanket anymore.
Ooh,
Let me
shut
ask-
down. Roll cold.
Oh boy. I'm not good with gold.
You've got a +1 forward here.
I got 8, so I got a 9 total.
All right. So a 7 to 9. Shut someone down. So, all right. So you're going to gain another condition, and you can either see. Does Shar have any strings on you? Yeah, she does. So you could have her lose a string on you, or you can give her a condition, or you could take another +1 forward again.
Mm.
And you know you're pretty much being smacked down here, Shar.
I am going to add a condition to Charlotte, and it's that she is conflicted about me. Not decided one way or another.
All right. Added conflicted. And so you've basically been told to pack up and leave. And that's when you hear Olivia snoring over on her blanket. What do you do, Shar?
I'm not going anywhere until I know my friend is safe and my friend is taken care of.
I mean, look at her. She looks pretty safe to me. But, you know, if you want to stay, can you just be nicer to me?
Promise to be nicer.
Yeah, let me redux that really quick. All right. So Gail looks over at Olivia, says her thing. She looks back at Charlotte, and she's like, okay, look, You can stay here tonight, but you have to promise me you'll be nicer.
I promise, but you have to stay away from Drake. You can be friends.
So you're going to be nice for as long as I stay away from Drake. For as long as I leave him to you.
Yes.
All right. Fine.
All right, let's cut out to the woods. And so, Levi, you've been roaming for a pretty good amount of time. The moon is much lower in the sky now. You can still feel its power enveloping you. And you get a scent of the howler, but there's a couple other scents mingled with that you're not familiar with. But what you do know is, not unlike the howler, they're definitely not normal creatures.
So that's Levi. I'll lock in on that smell, and if I feel like I'm getting close, like if I'm closing in on that, I think that'd be like that breathing in and taking sense of this. And I think I'd like to use that heightened senses to take
Sure.
instincts on a charged situation. If you think this is a charged situation, I'm not sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. And so what do you want to do with that moon? You said it's out, it's getting low.
You're bathed in moonlight, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. So that's +3.
Oof.
So 9.
Okay, mixed result. So what does mixed result mean? I don't.
I ask one question from below, and then I take +1 forward.
Oh, acting on it. Okay.
Yeah. What poses the biggest threat to me?
What poses the biggest threat to you is not only this howler, but the howler's family. You can tell that they're family. Or Shar, potentially, lurking in the background. You get just a flicker there. And you're like, yeah, nah. I already slapped her down once. Could do that again. And now you know which way to go. Are you going to go ahead and pursue because you're not darkest self unless you want to be darkest self at this point. So you have that reasoning layer laying on top right now.
Well, I've been playing like I've been in darkest self ever since I went on.
Yeah, you got. Okay, that's cool. Well, let's just roll with that. Because since I didn't explicitly say that rolled off when you got knocked out by your uncle.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, when I got that scene of my uncle, I was like darkest self, basically.
Well, that explains why you were so unreasonable. I just thought I completely lacked any parenting skills whatsoever as your uncle. Okay, so then I presume now that you've got those scents, so you follow those, just loping along, and it's amazing how fast grizzlies can actually go.
Right.
And you get to a point where they split up and go off 3 different directions. Are you going to continue to follow the Howler because that's who you have a blood vendetta against? Or are you going to follow one of these? Okay.
Yeah, and if anything gets in my way, I kill it. Basically, that's where it's at right now.
Yeah. No. I mean, there's like no game between the Howler having come through and all the noise that an angry grizzly makes, tearing through the brush. Nah, I'm not going to have you kill any more campers, as amusing as that would be. Although maybe you do hear, like, you scare a bunch of cattle and stuff. And so that'll be yet another topic of rumors in the community.
Yeah. So I guess where I could see where Levi's at and where it's going now, that this would be a big howl, and he would charge in towards the Howler, and this either ends until there's a confrontation with the Howler, or he passes out and the sun rises. You know what I mean? Like, this is either he's gonna chase him around all night. It's gonna go down.
I think the way this works is, so you charge along and you get to this low valley-like area in between some bluffs, and there's springs coming down, well, water seeping out of the bluffs and then feeding into a little creek with all these rounded rocks in it. And the moon's just way down on the horizon. And there's a big pool, actually like a small pond, where the water's just kind of circulating through, and then it moves on downstream. And there on the other side of it, you see the Howler, and it's actually lapping some water up, and it stands up and looks at you and lets out a huge howl. And then it sprints off into the bushes. And that's right when the sun's rays come up over the trees and hit you. And you collapse and transform right there with your feet laying in the stream. And you can see the brush moving where the Howler just went through. And I think that's where we'll stop tonight.
Okay.
That was a hecking fun session, guys. Everyone was fantastic. We got a lot of stuff going on. Poor Drake missed out on all of it.